Today we're looking at the church, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. So for a minute, let's just forget about buildings and stained glass and all that. We're going to dive into this idea, based on the work of Ronald Jasmin, that the church is actually a living, breathing, growing organism. And really, it all kicks off with this simple question. How does something so tiny, something that seems totally insignificant, become this massive, life-giving thing? Well, believe it or not, the answer is tucked away in a couple of ancient parables, and it's the key to understanding how the church is actually designed to grow. So to really get to the heart of this, we've got to go back to the beginning, back to two stories Jesus told in the Gospel of Mark. These parables, they really set the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. Now, what's so cool is how these two parables are like two sides of the same coin. The first one, about the growing seed, basically says that growth is, well, it's a mystery. A farmer does his part, right? He plants the seed, but the real power, that life force that makes it grow, he can't see it, he can't control it. It just happens. Then the second parable, the mustard seed, shows us the result. What starts out as the smallest, most unassuming thing grows into something so big and so impactful that it actually provides shelter for others. And this right here, this quote nails the main idea. It's a partnership. We, as humans, have a role to play, no doubt about it. We're the ones scattering the seed. But, and this is crucial, we are not the source of the growth. The heavy lifting, the mysterious, powerful, miraculous part, that's God's job. Okay, so if growth is this organic, God-powered process, you gotta ask, how does it all hold together? How does it not just fly apart into a million pieces? For that answer, we turn to the book of Ephesians, which lays out the actual blueprint for how this body can grow healthy and strong. And the Apostle Paul is incredibly specific here. He doesn't give some vague suggestions. Nope. He gives us a blueprint built on 7 foundational pillars. These are the absolute non-negotiables. And here they are. You can think of these 7 ones as the spiritual DNA of the church. This is the core code, the essential stuff that binds every single part together, across time, across cultures, into one cohesive body. It's not about forcing everyone to look and act the same. Not at all. It's about being unified around these central truths. All right, so we've got this unified foundation, this shared DNA. But how does the body actually work day to day? How does it get the job of growing done? First, we have to get this definition straight in our heads. The original Greek word for church is ekklesia. And you know what it means? Simply, an assembly of people. It was never, ever about a building or a location. It has always been about the community, about the people themselves. And this is where we see the internal engine of the church. And it's brilliant. It's not meant to be a pyramid with a few leaders at the top doing all the important stuff. It's a body. Leaders have a very specific job: to equip, to train, to empower everyone else. And then everyone else, the saints, which just means all believers, they have an equally specific job: to get out there and actually do the work. I mean, this verse from Ephesians just says it all, doesn't it? The body only grows when every single part is working properly. Every ligament, every joint, every single person matters. There are no spectators on the sideline in a healthy body. If one part isn't pulling its weight, the whole body feels it. So all this talk about every part working properly, it brings up a huge question. Why? What's the point of all this unity and all this function? Is it just about having a bigger organization, getting more people in the doors? The answer is a resounding no. The goal isn't just to grow bigger, it's to grow up. And the text paints such a vivid picture of what that looks like. Spiritual immaturity is like being a little kid, unstable, easily confused, blown around by every shiny new idea that comes along. But maturity is about becoming grounded, stable, able to tell what's true and hold on to it with love. So what's the end game? What's the finish line for the church, both as a whole and for each of us individually? It's right here: to collectively grow up into the full likeness of its head, Jesus Christ. That's the target. That's the whole point. So what does this actually mean for us right now? Well, let's break it down into 5 practical things we can do. Number 1, plant and trust. Do your part and let God handle the results. 2, be faithful with the small stuff. Don't dismiss small beginnings. God makes them huge. 3, actively pursue unity. Be a bridge builder, not a wall builder. 4, use your gifts. Get off the bench and start contributing.
And finally, number 5, grow up. Make spiritual maturity an intentional goal, not something you hope just happens.
When you put all these pieces together, the picture becomes crystal clear. The church isn't a building you go to or a club you join. It's a living organism. And that means every single one of us is either an active cell, contributing to its health and its growth, or we're part of the dysfunction. There's really no middle ground. And so that leaves us with this final, really challenging question to ask ourselves. In this living, breathing body, what role are you playing? Are you an active, functioning part of the growth, or are you dead weight? The health of the entire body really depends on your answer.